There was also that Rachel McAdams movie with Rachel Weisz where they made out, and I think they were religious.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to SinCast, presented by Cinemasins.
All right, everybody, welcome to the SinCast. This is Chris Atkinson from Cinemasins, joined as always by the voice of Cinemasins, Jeremy Scott.
Hello.
And from Music Video Sins, Barrett Share.
Yippee!
Today, we're going to be doing a winter preview of the movies that are coming out in November, all the way up until the very early March, first week of March, on that lousy Smarch weather.
Weather.
That's right.
We're going to name a few movies that will have already been out by the time this comes out. But wanted to cover those as well. Yeah, you know what? There's some pretty exciting movies coming out. I'm actually pretty excited about some of these that are out there.
Me too.
I hope a lot of this, like some of the Oscar contenders I'm seeing, aren't just like sheer pretentious nonsense, but I'm sure there will be. There always is.
There always is.
Yeah. I mean, you could tell when you saw the King's Speech trailer, you could probably tell what they were going for. When you saw the Aviator trailer, you probably could tell what they were going for.
Yeah.
The artist, that kind of thing. Yes, there is some pandering. I'm looking at one right now that's a remake that could be some pandering. But all in all, I'm with you, man. This is like one of the ones, not only that it looks like there's quality coming out, but we think we kind of have, for the first time in a long time, have some pretty good ideas about these actually coming out at the right time, right?
Yeah, there are some that have had the ultimate pandemic workover where you were supposed to come out in 2020, early 2020, and they're finally coming out even as late as 2022 in some cases. But anyway, let's get on with it. November 12th, today is November 15th, but and then when this comes out, it'll be November 22nd. But November, and some of these dates, they're either when the movie comes out in theaters, but a lot of this stuff, I'm going to bring up some Netflix stuff. They'll be coming out in theaters for like probably a 2-week run, and then they'll be on Netflix right after that. So on November 12th, I think one of the biggest Oscar contenders there is out there, Belfast, is Kenneth Branagh. Will not be the only time we mention Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah,
friend of the show. The first friend of the show, Kenneth
Very
Branagh.
first.
Apparently this is a movie based on his life, because he grew up in Belfast, and it covers the troubles.
I saw an interview where he said, I wanted to go back and shake hands with a 9-year-old me.
Yeah.
That's pretty classic Branagh right there.
It is, but it's a beautiful way to describe the intent of the film, which I gather is loosely based on his life growing up. You got 50 Shades looking good in this, and
Jamie Dornan
continuing the tradition of the two leads from that and Twilight becoming better and better actors the further they get away from 50 Shades and Twilight. I saw a trailer for this. Of course, prep for this show was watching a lot of trailers, but this was one that actually intrigued me and made I'd put a little mental check mark.
Yeah,
it looks pretty fucking amazing, and Jamie Dornan has turned into a reliably really good performer. Like you said, I mean, Dakota Johnson has become just, I think, spectacular in what she's done, but he has also become a bright spot in everything that I've seen him do.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a top contender right now for one of the Best Picture nominations, and I'm looking forward to it. It looks really good.
Irish too, right? Dornan?
I believe so.
I feel like he's doing his natural accent in this film, but I could be talking. Red, I do believe you're talking out of your ass.
Yes. Also on November 12th, and we will have seen this by the time it came out, is Tick, Tick, Boom, the Lin-Manuel Miranda adaptation of the Jonathan Larson story about him struggling on Broadway, trying to get a show to be a show on Broadway, basically.
This is Lynn's directorial debut in film. And I read an interview recently. He's super passionate about this. Like, he saw a version of Tick, Tick, Boom in like 2001, I think. This is after Larson had died, but it absolutely lit his fuse. And basically the show basically said, do you want to spend the next 10 years of your life making no money trying to write musicals? And I saw that show and said, yes, I do. And so from what I have done reading, I'm a big Lin fan, so I'm interested in this. This is basically a play that had a couple different names. At one point it was Tick, Tick, Boom was called something Boho. And was a one-man show. And then at another point, after his death, it was staged with 3 people. It was a 3-person show and called Tick, Tick, Boom. And then in 2015, Lin-Manuel and Leslie Odom Jr. were in a version of Tick, Tick, Boom, a 3-man show. And so this is, from what I've gathered, this is a film adaptation that takes the themes and songs of that stage show, which is autobiographical about trying to write a musical, and then fills it in with quote unquote real life scenes of him in his apartment and with his friends and whatnot. And so it seems like kind of like a hybrid kind of a film where we're extrapolating bits of Larson's real life and then combining it with this one-man show that he wrote.
Yep. And Larson would go on to do Rent, but this is not about that necessarily. It's a sort of a show he was doing before. That's the main crux of it. It's a futuristic world that people always confuse with something else, and they don't know what it is and don't like it, and or they like it but they don't think it's ready for Broadway and everything. So
right.
But yeah, that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to watch that one. I'm on board for that. So
tell you what, that Garfield, he's no slouch these days either. We all appreciated him in the Spider-Man thing, and I loved him in Under the Silver Lake. But like he's really diverse, and
he's doing
Heartbreak Ridge or whatever the fuck it was that I didn't see.
Hacksaw Ridge. He's also doing the Jim and Tammy Faye Baker movie with Jessica Chastain. He's got range. I'm very, and he's supposedly in a possible upcoming superhero movie, but he's got range, and I hope he continues to use it.
Yeah.
On November 17th, another Netflix, and again, I would expect that to be the theatrical release date, and then it'll be on Netflix later. But The Power of the Dog, which is the return of Jane Campion. We'd been wondering about that. She made a huge splash with The Piano back in 1993, and then made like a couple of movies that didn't do well. And I think she's been working ever since, but she's never had that quite high profile movie and this one is another huge Oscar contender that's coming out. Benedict Cumberbatch, Kirsten Dunst, Jesse Plemons, Cody Smith-McPhee. I don't really know what it's about. It's like set on a ranch or something, and it looks like Benedict Cumberbatch versus Cody Smith-McPhee, basically. Like he
looks like a big bully.
Yeah, he doesn't like him for some reason. I don't know what it is. Yeah, that's what does anybody? I mean, and then of course you have the real life couple Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons who actually have a love story in the movie. So there's something about that's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: it's a fine trailer in that it intrigued me and gave me a sense of mood, but I have no freaking clue what this movie's about.
Yeah, same here.
And I'll probably be checking it out.
Yeah,
it's got that cast alone is worth checking it out.
Well, it's a Western too, right? So that's probably going to be up your alley visually and all that. What do we? I know I keep talking about actors, but what do we think about Benedict Cumberbatch after this amount of time? Like, obviously, Doctor Strange and Sherlock are his bell cows, which he's great in both of those. But like, how are we doing on the other stuff? Am I missing something, or has he not really been, spectacular in other stuff? I know he was in that imitation game. Was that it?
I think he's always great. Even if the projects don't turn out great. I didn't like that Tesla versus Edison.
Yeah, you saw that, right? And that had the marks of, like, of course it got caught up in the whole Weinstein thing, but like that had all the hallmarks of being like a really fun, interesting movie, but you didn't really dig that one, right?
No, it felt like a bunch of montages stitched together. But I don't blame Cumberbatch for that. I think he cameos in 1917, but that
he does. He does very briefly. Yeah,
but I've generally enjoyed him in everything I've seen him in. But this is the first high-powered drama I think I've seen him in a good little while.
Yeah, I think you're right. There does seem to be something like, he's been in a lot of like so-so or bad movies for a while, and we're wondering if it's him, but it's not really. And I don't think it's really him.
No, it's just whatever however he gets into these movies. It's just not.
He was also in that. What's the WikiLeaks guy movie that came out?
Assange,
Fifth Dimension.
Yeah, Assange. That was very poorly received.
Yeah,
so it's stuff like that. But okay, now on to some blockbusters. These will have come out by the time this comes out, but November 19th, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Jason Reitman taking over for his father in this. Not his type of movie, really.
No.
He had done a lot of different stuff from what his dad was a big comedy icon director, and this is not what Jason Reitman does. But apparently there was an article that I did not read. I don't know what it said in it, but it said something about him finally coming to terms. He was not going to do a Ghostbusters movie, but he decided to now for some reason. And something about working out those demons with when he was growing up and his dad and everything. And it's like, okay, his dad's a producer.
Something about Sony backing up a Brinks truck to his house.
Probably. That'll heal all wounds. Probably. Yes. I have not been able to get excited about this movie at all.
Man, I've gone on a very mild, like, kid-friendly roller coaster on this one. Like the first trailer, I was like, that gives me a little bit of hope. And then it got delayed and I went down into a little dip. And then they announced another trailer was going to come and I got hopeful. And then I saw the other trailer and I was back down in a dip. If you stood far enough away, it would look like a straight line because it's the peaks aren't very high and the valleys aren't very low. I'm very meh on this movie right now. And word of mouth will probably have to sway me. Now, this is one where I think the pandemic schedule shuffling cost interest for me. I'm probably never going to lose interest in a Batman movie. You can keep pushing it for years and I'm going to show up. But I feel like for Jeremy, there was a window between when their first trailer came and when they're releasing this movie and they missed it. And now I don't care.
Yeah. I like the idea of this being out in the country instead of the city. Like, I like the idea of that. But yeah, every time I watch this trailer, I'm like, there's something about modern effects that bother me on these type of movies. The modern effects bother me. I don't know. Especially at the end, they're calling, and of course I think it's Aykroyd or whatever at the end. A lot of nostalgia type stuff in here, and it looks like it's a bunch of kids trying to get Ghostbusters back up. Essentially, it's kids starting a business, just like the 1984 version was when it was. I don't know. I'm gonna have to have some good word of mouth on this probably.
The problem is that the first Ghostbusters, with Chris and I just recently really dove into, it's written, conceived, and performed by comedic legends that are at the top of their game. It was about ghosts, and it was about the paranormal and stuff like that, but that's not what you remember. Okay, I can't say that. It's not like you don't remember the ghosts in Ghostbusters, but what you remember is the dialogue between especially the three of them, with Winston coming in later on, and the snappiness and the brilliance of these guys that have worked together, in Harold Ramis and Bill Murray and Stripes and Caddyshack and stuff like that, where like you can't replicate that. You can replicate a derivative of it, but you can't replicate how comedically genius that first movie was. And that, I think, was the main appeal, even though the story was fun too. Does that make any sense at all? I think that's what's missing from this guy.
There's going to be a complete tonal change from this movie from 37 years ago. And it might be fine. I mean, it could be some great moments in that, for all I know, but it's the trailers have failed to, and the whole thing with Paul Rudd and the store and all the different marshmallow men running around. I don't get that. Like, is that going to be him thinking of who Gozer is going to show up as or whatever? Is like, what the hell is that? That
they're subverting your expectations.
Yeah. But who knows? Might be huge, might be good. I don't know. We'll find out. And then we've talked about King Richard. We talked about it on an earlier preview, right? What's that face, Barrett?
I'm sorry, it looks awful to me. That's
okay.
Face.
I was like, I thought I was saying
doing.
something wrong there for a second, but we've covered it a little bit. It looks like, I mean, there's I guess talk about Will Smith potentially getting an Oscar for this. I mean, King Richard is about the Williams father, and they are producers on this, so it's I guess technically it's got their thumbs up, their approval, and everything. I just still wish this movie was about them more than it was about their dad.
Yeah, and I mean, even if they're in it a great deal, the title puts it squarely about the dad. And I don't know, honestly, ignorance here. I don't know if King Richard we're just playing on Shakespeare, or if that was like a nickname he had or something. But we're definitely crowning this guy with the title of this movie, and maybe that's fair. I haven't seen it. I have one friend that has seen it and said good things. So
yeah, it could be good.
We'll see. But yeah,
this would be like making a biopic about Earl Woods. Like, we had that Tiger documentary, and that was interesting to Tiger fans. It showed a complex relationship there, but it would be like making a biopic starring Will Smith or somebody like that.
It's the Patton Oswalt thing. Tiger Woods is the greatest golfer ever. Let's see what's in his dad's balls. Right? No. Well, that's better than the thing I said that we had to cut.
What's funny is Barrett and I were both at that Patton Oswalt show where he was talking about Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, and everything. And that's such a great joke, talking about like you think Angelina Jolie's hot? Here's a picture of John Voight's ball. So, and on November 19th, there's a couple of limited releases. One is called Come On, Come On, which has Joaquin Phoenix in it. It looks like he's playing a dad. It's a family drama. It comes out. I don't know if it's a Netflix thing, but have any of you heard of any of this movie?
Come on. This was a surprise when I even saw it. I was like, Joaquin, not much else. Gabby Hoffman,
it looks like it's a father-son movie. Gabby Hoffman, I think, either plays the baby mama or is their what?
Baby mama. It's just a funny
is really, they really are husband and wife in the movie. It doesn't really seem like that. It seems like he's bringing the kid over like after a visitation or whatever. But what that looks like that might be a potential awards thing, probably more for acting than anything. But the other one that's on here, and Barrett, you listed this, Black Friday, is the one about the store that gets overrun with zombies.
You said this looks up your alley, and
yes, it does.
I went and looked for the trailer, and I had already seen it and dismissed it as a stinky doo-doo. What exactly appeals to you about this? Looks like the lowest budget thing ever.
You know what it is? It's career opportunities. Remember that movie?
No.
With
With
Frank
Dana Carvey?
Whaley and Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly.
I said Carvey.
Well, Dana Carvey did a movie called Opportunity Knocks.
Opportunity Knocks. There you go.
Which was, I think, in the same year.
They're stuck in career opportunities. They're stuck in like a Target type of store overnight, which has always been my dream. This is that with zombies. Just happens to be Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. Bruce Campbell's in this, Michael Jai White. And I think I don't know, man, alt horror comedy has become my new jam. I introduced the wife to Ready or Not the other night, and she absolutely fell in love with it. I was like, I'm going to give you 2 alt comedy horror options, Freaky or Ready or Not. And I give her the plots of each, and she was like, let's watch Ready or Not. And she loved it, and now she wants to watch Freaky. So like, this is just, I don't know. It's a different ballpark, but I just think
I could see you putting it in that umbrella. It looks like stinky doo-doo.
not just doo-doo, stinky.
I think we have a potential for interviews on that movie, but probably not anymore.
Oh no.
No. Bruce Campbell was ready to come onto the show.
That's right.
And he was like, hey, I heard what you said. This is my boomstick.
Okay, November 24th. Talk about a movie I cannot get horny for at all. House of Gucci, the Ridley Scott adaptation. I don't know if it's about the Gucci family, and there's a lot of actors in here that I love. Al Pacino, Adam Driver. I even like Lady Gaga as an actor. But I can't get excited about this movie whatsoever. What is it about this movie that they're advertising it like this is the event of the fall, and it's like I'm not getting it. Are people excited about this movie?
It already has its head up its own ass. It already has its head.
It feels like there are people excited for it, and I think they're the people who like gossipy fashion world type shit like that. Wasn't there a Ryan Murphy miniseries about not Gucci but
Versace?
Versace. That was pretty popular. I think that there's sort of a real life soap opera kind of thing. It's not interesting to me. It looks like people playing dress up, and
it very much does. Like, even I mean, and Lady Gaga, who looks like she's doing a great job playing that character, it seems just too much like an act the whole time. Like, it doesn't seem like she is that person. And it could be the machinations of a trailer making me think that, but it just feels like everybody's play acting.
Exactly. That trailer sets a record for how many times they say Gucci.
Yeah,
they say Gucci
more than 8th
probably. I'm estimating 800 times in that trailer.
Yeah, 800. Yeah, I think you're right.
I tell you, who does look decent in this is Jared Leto.
See, now Jared Leto is the epitome of the play acting, and like like.
Yeah, I'm done with his.
Like his whole thing at this point is, let's make me look weird, and then I'll do something weird. And that'll qualify as acting.
That's true, but you're right.
But he might be fun to watch. I don't know. I mean, he probably like pranked all the actors on the set too, being that person.
Yeah, he did.
Jeremy Irons is in it too. I think Jeremy Irons.
Salma Hayek is in this too.
Salma Hayek's in this. Yeah,
yeah. Bless her.
Oh my God. I personally don't feel like this is going to be a big hit at all. I feel like this looks like one of those that they're trying to make to be an event, but people will just by and large not go to it. But I could be completely wrong. It could be like a slam dunk hit for all I know. But also on the 24th, Disney by themselves, not Pixar, is doing Encanto, which is about a magic house.
Yes, a magic house where everybody has a special ability in the whole family, except for one girl. It's like the reverse of your typical superhero powered type deal. And of course, this is Lin-Manuel Miranda. And he's been involved. Some of these movies he's been involved with, like Moana. Yeah. He was brought in late to write music for a story that was mostly done. But he's been involved in this one from the beginning. I have high hopes. It has a very low bar to beat the Vivo movie that I watched with my wife that he voiced and wrote the music for. But this looks like a Pixar movie, as they have, Disney and Pixar have begun to blend together. I'm excited about this one.
I've always wondered what their, I know that the reason why Disney does their own stuff is just in case, I guess, Pixar ever breaks off and they can still have their own brand of 3D animation and everything. I guess. I don't know. Disney has so much money now. I don't know how Pixar would ever tear away from them at this point, but maybe they could. Maybe there's a chance that they could somehow. I don't know. But I was watching that trailer very intently because I was like, is this Disney or Pixar or what? And it's pretty adamant that it's just Disney, not Pixar. In fact, they might as well have said, by the way, not Pixar in the middle of the trailer.
It's like pop star doing the not gay thing.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it looks good. I don't entirely understand it. It's a house that was built by magic, and then something happens to the magic, and then they have to go into another world to fix the magic. That's basically what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
So
magic is always breaking.
Do you guys know if Disney Plus is done with this day and date thing? Like they're not even going to do it.
Seems
anymore.
Like they are.
They are.
Seems like they're done with that.
I think Marvel is, but like Disney just dropped Luca on Disney Plus in the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
It didn't even put that shit in theaters, I don't think. I think at least with Marvel stuff, they've signaled because of that lawsuit that they're going to... But everything's moving back in that direction anyway.
It'll probably be company-wide, though. Like
I'm going to enjoy my Matrix viewing at home,
yes.
and then it's all going to go away.
I know. That'll be the last hurrah, essentially, for you.
It will be.
Just buck naked, just sitting on your couch like fucking Matrix me, bitch.
That's right.
Oh,
Matrix
man.
me hard. Also on November 24th, we don't have to talk about it too much, but Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City comes out, and that is them basically rebooting Resident Evil. It even looks like it kind of goes back to the old game where they go into the mansion and all that.
Very much.
So no more Nikita?
No more Mila Jovovich in this. Looks like they're trying
right director, wrong actress.
right, Exactly. Kaya Scodelario is in this, who's in the Maze Runner, which is Maze Runner, and she was in one of that. I think that last Pirates of the Caribbean that came out. She was in that, and she was in the alligator movie. Crawl. She was in that.
I liked that movie.
Did you really?
Yeah. I mean, I probably won't watch it again, but I liked it.
Mm-hmm. On November 26th, I have Licorice Pizza down on this one. That's PTA. Paul Thomas
All
Anderson.
of Hollywood has already shot their load over this movie.
Me too.
Well, I knew you would, but yeah, I mean, the trailer looks good. It's more appealing to me than the trailers for his last couple movies, and most of those have grown on me over time. So yeah, what I like about it is that he's chosen unexpected leads, not really even famous actors. Like one is a marginally famous singer, part of a singing group,
right?
But, yeah, the trailer looked good. Gave me a lot of Almost Famous vibes, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah.
I think they are both paying homage to the same kind of vibe and feel and era. There you go.
Yeah, it has Cooper Hoffman, who's Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, is playing the lead in this. But it looks like it has a ton of people. Bradley Cooper plays John Peters, and it's pretty funny. There's that Streisand thing. Barbara Streisand. Kid keeps saying sand. This is Barbara Streisand.
I find myself liking Bradley Cooper's performances despite myself. I obviously don't know him personally. I just know kind of how he is in the press, and he doesn't seem like the easiest person to get along with, at least from that aspect. But God damn it, I mean, guy's got fucking range, and he's funny, and he's really grown into an excellent actor.
I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting that Paul Thomas Anderson went to John Peters and said, "I'm making a movie with your character is going to be you're going to be in this," and basically, essentially got his blessing. And Peters told him stories and all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, Peters is part of that Hit and Run book that I've brought up many times.
Oh, is he?
He's one of the big studio heads that was a part of Sony back in the day with Peter Cooper. And it's, talks about how they ran Sony into the ground back in the day with all that like craziness, like Hudson Hawk and Cliffhanger and Last Action Hero and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm a little bit guarded about it. I'm not like super excited about it. Like it's not, it feels like, if you lived in California in the 70s, this might be right up your alley, which doesn't, fit my life whatsoever. So, I'm always interested in whatever he has to put out. So
it's like that movie that, Jonah Hill made, like mid 90s.
Oh yeah.
And I was a 90s kid, and I watched that movie, and I felt no connection to anything I saw in that movie at all.
Yeah,
you had to be literally in like San Fernando Valley,
right, exactly.
into skateboarding
exactly.
in the 90s.
On December 3rd, the only movie that I see as wide on December 3rd is Wolf. Not to be confused with the Mike Nichols movie from 1994 starring Jack Nicholson. Now, remember when we had a theme a few years ago where it was like little children running through the woods and all that?
Yeah.
This winter preview seems to have a lot of like people changing into animals type of stuff going on. There's a lot of that stuff going on. And this one, it feels like the world is acknowledging it as a disorder where people think that they are turning into other animals. But this lead in this movie, shows some real like he's really going to turn into a wolf or something in this, and it never quite shows him turning into one. So it could always be those like a psychological thriller type of thing.
I get very much like. It's weird, like lobster vibes.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because they're meeting in in some sort of institution. There's animals involved, and it almost seems like this is directed by a woman. It's not Yorgos Lanthimos, but it almost seems like it has a Yorgos Lanthimos type of delivery from everything. And I got to tell you, I'm a little bit excited to see how Lily Rose Depp approaches her career. I don't know if I've seen her in anything besides she was in Yoga Hosers.
Yoga Hosers.
And that movie is that movie. All right. I don't think anybody had any pretensions about doing that movie. But that's the only thing I've seen her in. So
Yoga Hosers, and then she was in Johnny Depp's Balls.
She was. She had a recurring character.
A recurring character. Hey, that's Lily Rose right there. I can feel her kicking.
That's right. That's right.
She, it's him and Vanessa Paradis, right? That's their kid.
Yep. Also on December 3rd, there are a lot of limited things and a lot of like heavy hitters. Nightmare Alley, which is the new Guillermo del Toro movie, and this also has some animal changing, or I don't know. It's like a carnival. Something said it at a carnival, and it seems like there might be some.
Bee Coop, right? This is another Bradley Cooper joint.
Yep. And the whole trailer is saying, is he a man or a beast or whatever, and it's got the usual visual flair of a Guillermo del Toro movie. It looks enticing, but I've been disappointed before.
He's gotten to the point where you can tell it's a Guillermo del Toro movie just by seeing some frames, I think. He's just got
a very distinct style.
Yeah, his thing. And it's gorgeous. I'm with you, Chris. I think Shape of Water is probably my favorite movie that he's done. I like Pan's Labyrinth, but like I don't connect necessarily emotionally or like practically with these movies. I just they're fun to watch sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like those movies that you mentioned. I mean, and Hellboy was kind of fun, and
yeah,
Hellboy 2 was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But I just, I'm not all the way there where a lot of film nerds are, where where he is concerned. It seems like everybody. I mean, he's a great guy. He is. I mean, that's the thing. Like a lot of people know him, and he's just very. He's just such a cool and nice guy and everything. And I think a lot of times that translates into, his movies are amazing. And it's not, I haven't quite gotten there on those. Visuals were amazing. Then a movie that Jeremy sort of told us about, Silent Night, with Keira Knightley, and yet another end of the world type movie. Although this is a very, very dark comedy.
Yeah.
And it looks fun. It
does. It does, man. It's like Melancholia, except for like funny.
Yeah.
I think so Keira Knightley has gotten award nominations. She's probably won some, but I feel like she's nominated. Excellent all the time.
Yeah.
And she doesn't get, in my opinion, that reputation that I think she deserves, because she's also got range. She's done comedy, she's done light dramedy, she's done serious fucked up childhood atonement dramas, she's done fucking Pride and Prejudice. I mean, anyway,
Anna
I think
Karenina.
she's just a great actress, and I don't feel like she gets talked about with the other, like the Kate Winslets of the world, but I think she's every bit as good.
Yeah, I think she's just been one of those who's never played the game, basically, so to speak.
You're right about that.
She seems to not be on lots of magazine covers and just showing up out of nowhere when she doesn't have anything to promote. She's just kind of been working hard for a long time since she came up so many years ago.
Yeah.
So she's 36. What was the fucking Freud movie that she did? She was excellent.
Oh, that was I know what you're talking about.
The Imitation Game.
Yeah, she's in The Imitation Game.
She is in The Imitation Game.
I saw this.
The Dangerous
movie.
Method.
Dangerous Method is
the one.
Yeah, that was
she's excellent in that.
That was Cronenberg who did that.
Yeah. That's a really, really good movie, and she ain't the problem in the Pirates movies. In fact, she's probably one of the best parts of the Pirates movies. In the three that she was in. The hell, she wasn't bad in The Jacket.
Yeah,
I like The Jacket.
I kind of like The Jacket too.
Don't bring any Jacket slander in here.
Can't be with you on that one, guys. I remember The Jacket being a singularly miserable experience, but maybe if I watch it again, I'll be on your level.
I do know that they use that famous diner in The Jacket that they use in Training Day, and I think it's also in Seven.
Yes, that
diner
one,
that's been in like 100 different movies.
And then we have Benedetta, Paul Verhoeven's movie about sexy nuns.
I like the description. Paul Verhoeven's movie about sexy nuns. That should literally be the tagline. I don't know why they try for anything else.
Yeah, I guess they're not sexy nuns, but they are nuns that are having sex.
I've seen a surprising amount of movies with sexy nuns in the last 5-10 years.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that lately.
There has to say at least two. The Little Hours and that one with
Margaret Qualley in it.
Yes, Margaret Qualley in it, and also
can't remember what that.
Melissa Leo.
Yes.
It was called. It's some Catholic term. Subligation. I don't know. It's something. Succession. Shit. Novitiate.
That's
novitiate.
Novitiate.
Where she's not necessarily a nun. She's a nun in training. And plus, you've seen the Seinfeld, in which the nun and the novitiate falls for Kramer because he's got the Kavorka.
Anyway, if you know your Paul Verhoeven, if you know you're Paul Verhoeven, you know that this movie is going to just go completely over the line and be crazy. Because that's what he's always done with his sex movies.
Are you on board with this?
I will watch it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's always interesting to watch, no matter what.
Yeah.
Hey, you like Barrett? You're a big Insomniac fan. You probably this feels like a companion piece to that. Not Insomniac.
Look, normally I can follow these detours, but I have no fucking clue where you're at right now.
You're trying to be Ryan Gosling in The Nice Guys, where he's trying to figure out what the dude meant by
the two-part sex movie with Shia LaBeouf on Netflix.
Oh, Nymphomaniac. It's like if Christopher Nolan and Lars von Trier got together and did Insomnia Nymphomaniac.
Yes, that's right.
There was also that Rachel McAdams movie with Rachel Weisz where they made out, and I think they were religious.
Oh, yeah. They were religious.
Church group. They were at Sunday school and they had hot dishes and they were like, let's fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of orthodox thing in that movie. They're not nuns though.
Also on December 3rd, I have a movie called Flee, Flee, where it looks like it's a documentary that they've animated, maybe.
Oh, I was hoping it was like a prequel to Fled.
Yes. Yeah.
It's going to have the guy who plays Morpheus in Matrix playing Lawrence Fishburne's character.
You see how he got arrested in the first place.
Yeah. Exactly.
Before they fled, they fleed.
But it's weird. They keep saying it's a documentary, but it's animated. So it's like, I guess they've interviewed this dude and they are kind of like animating the story that he tells throughout it. And it's about a guy who's living in Kabul, I think. And that's when the Mujahideen come in and start, there's like bombings and stuff. So he has to leave the city and he goes to another place, and it's about going to a new place and everything. But it looks really good.
This could be what was the Persephone? It's not Persephone. Persepolis.
Persepolis. Yeah.
Where it was animated.
It reminds me a lot of that, by the way.
Yeah. Huh.
It says that executive producers are Riz Ahmed and Nikolai Castor-Waldau.
Interesting. But it looks good, man. I mean, it's a trailer I saw at the Belcourt recently, and I saw that it was at least a mild contender for Oscars. So I wanted to bring that one up. And finally, on December 3rd, The Hand of God. It's an Italian movie. It's just got some Oscar buzz. It looks like it's a coming of age type of thing, and it's coming out on Netflix. December 10th, we have West Side Story.
Gag me with a spoon.
Steven Spielberg.
This is the one that I was talking about, obviously, at the top of the show, where he's. Am I wrong that this is shooting for all of the Oscar noms?
Oh, for sure. No doubt about it.
God, I've got an anti-boner for this one.
Yeah.
And I bet it's going to be good. Jeremy and I watched this recently, and I found myself kind of comically disliking it at first, and then realizing what a masterpiece it is. The 1961 version.
I think that's right.
And I'm sure Spielberg's going to direct the shit out of it. I'm sure it's going to be fine. Story's fine. I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
Anybody else like?
And this is another thing. You start seeing these trailers of movies that were supposed to come out, last year or whatever, and I think there's a lot of stuff that's come out about Ansel Elgort, and it's weird seeing him in this movie. That might be like a huge just detractor for a lot of people to watch this, who may have been on the fence to watch it in the first place. You know, when I was watching trailers, I was like, oh my God, look at all these problematic people. Like, these people weren't problematic when it was supposed to come out.
But now they are.
So
I just don't understand this. Every time I've expressed this sentiment on Twitter, I get a handful of people who are like, well, in the original, they put brown face on some people, and that, you know, we could at least correct that injustice. And I'm like, well, then why isn't Spielberg remaking Breakfast at Tiffany's to fix that racial injustice? And that's not the reason he's doing it. He's doing it to win Oscars, and so he can make a musical. And he's just at a stage in his career where, I mean, I will always respect Steven Spielberg, and he could make Black Fridays for the rest of his career, and I would still respect Steven Spielberg.
Could make Stuck on You too, and I would be fine.
But I don't understand this choice at all, and I have zero interest in this movie.
Yeah, kind of same here.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be good. I'll catch it on a Sunday at some point in 2025.
Right, 2025. Also on December 10th, there's a movie apparently coming out called National Champions. It had no trailer, and it's about a quarterback who decides not to play the big game and leads a big strike to get proper pay and stuff. I couldn't find a trailer for it.
For the football players?
Yeah, for the football players. There's somebody decently
famous?
big in it?
Oliphant and J.K. Simmons is in this. Another J.K. Simmons.
Although I don't think that those are the. It's Alexander Ludwig who's the quarterback who plays it. But yeah, Timothy Oliphant and J.K. Simmons are in it. But yeah, that was something that's apparently coming out on December 10th, but it doesn't have a trailer, so it may not come out. It may come out later, 2022. May never come out. You never know. Also on December 10th, Don't Look Up. Adam McKay's movie with that's coming out on will be on Netflix at some point. Leonardo DiCaprio is in this.
Is this a comedy that you're not supposed to laugh at?
I don't know.
It's
about a comet that's coming towards Earth, and he's, I think, trying to warn the president, played by Meryl Streep.
And nobody cares.
And nobody cares. And Jonah Hill's in this.
Did the trailer make you laugh?
No, not really. I mean, I think they're trying to get a bunch of laughs from DiCaprio, like hyperventilating in a bathroom at the beginning of this thing.
And then from Jonah Hill's response in the Oval Office about, whatever the line is that he says. It didn't land for me. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of the last movie this guy made, so.
Yeah. But he's also done enough good stuff that he's got a goodwill rating right now.
And listen, Leonardo DiCaprio, Aviator and J. Edgar aside, has a pretty good picker.
Mm-hmm. He does.
He doesn't take a lot of projects, and they usually are high quality. So I will give him the benefit of the doubt, but I will wait for you guys to tell me it's good before I see it.
Yeah, I think this just needs a better trailer, and I'm sure we'll see one in the next week or two before this comes out, because that trailer is very teasery that's on right now. They don't have anything that's bigger, I don't think.
It also, is it going to be funny to watch government officials willfully ignore a catastrophe that's impending after we've just lived through it?
Probably not.
Here's the thing. The Big Short wasn't objectively... I mean, it is objectively funny, but it's not about funny stuff, right? But he somehow made that funny. A lot of people think Vice was funny in certain, and there were some laughs in that, but it's about horrible subject matter too. So I think that's kind of maybe Adam McKay's thing now, right?
Yeah.
What is the TV show, Chris, that he's doing right now on HBO? Oh, it's Succession is his thing.
Oh, is he a producer on that?
Yeah, and I think he actually helped create it.
But that show's really good. The first season, I was like, I don't know. This is one of those that I think I picked up like right as the pandemic started. So I watched the 2 seasons that had been going on. The first season was okay, but I watched the second season, and the second season was great.
I feel like Adam McKay is your guy, Chris. I feel like
he definitely is.
He's
there's a style that I really like, starting with The Big Short, which I will still claim is probably my most watched movie of the past 10 years.
It's so good.
But I have not. You guys hated Vice, and I liked it pretty good, but I haven't come back to Vice since it came out. So, I mean, I think he's one of those who really understands comedy, and he's obviously he's doing something a little bit different than what we see in most drama or comedy dramas or whatever. So I'll be watching this. They do need a better trailer though. Also on the 10th, this is an Amazon release that I guess is going to be in theaters as well, being The Ricardos, which is Aaron Sorkin's movie with Nicole Kidman playing Lucille Ball.
Mm-hmm.
The trailer that's out doesn't really tell you much.
Nope. Is it Javier Bardem that's playing Desi Arnaz?
Yep.
I get very Steve Jobs vibes from this thing. For the obvious,
Jobs?
No, Steve Jobs. Because of the Sorkin connection, even though Danny Boyle directed that. Of course, Aaron Sorkin is directing and writing this one. I bet this is going to be a pleasant surprise, honestly. And
this gave me more Mank vibes, and maybe that's just because of the old Hollywood, real people involved movie setting kind of thing. It's weird because a good friend of mine saw that trailer and said, that looks like garbage. And like 30 minutes later, my brother emailed and said, that trailer looks amazing. And I really think it's all about your expectations on the leads and, how much you want a lookalike, it's weird that we're having these conversations because Sorkin was involved in The Social Network where we didn't have a lookalike and it worked just fine. Mm-hmm. And the early buzz is that Kidman is great and that she's only doing Lucy's mannerisms within the filming of scenes for the I Love Lucy show where she behaves the way Lucy did on that show. And there's only apparently 2 or 3 minutes of that in the whole movie. And the rest of the time, it's more about the person she is and not what you remember her voice sounded like or what, her mannerisms were like on the show. So I'm curious. Anything Sorkin does is worth a look for me. He's directed 2 movies so far. I think one was good and the other one was good. So I know you guys like the second one even more.
You're totally right. I actually think it's hard to call The Trial of Chicago 7 great. I liked it a lot. There's something about he's like Adam McKay for me. Like there's something about Sorkin that I can just go with. Both of those movies, the Miss Sloane Supper Club dinner, fucking Molly's Game, Game, and
fried green poker chips.
They both needed 20 minutes trimmed off. But I think obviously the dialogue is there, obviously. And I think him as a director is really, really good too. So,
I will just like anybody else that's on this list who's big. I'm going to watch this movie because of them, and I will hold my reservations at the door and watch these movies. Also on December 10th, I believe this is a limited release. Red Rocket, which is the new Sean Baker movie, guy who did the Florida Project. Simon Rex, who is basically, I guess, playing himself because he used to be a porno actor. And it looks like it's got that old, that real indie, like earthy, like real people vibe that we saw in the Florida Project. And it looks pretty funny. It looks pretty good.
Yeah. He's getting Oscar buzz.
Yeah, for sure. Simon Rex, for a lot of you our age, was a MTV VJ for a while.
Yes,
right.
Solid
video jockey.
I tell you what, man, A24 doesn't miss very often, so I'm pretty.
Well, it's got to be something there.
All right, everybody, it's time to talk about BetterHelp.
BetterHelp. This is good stuff. It's hard to get out there these days. It's hard to get out. It's hard to deal with with doctors' offices and therapists' offices and insurance people and money people and front desk people and waiting room people. It's hard enough to find the right counselor for you if you're having mental health issues, right? It's the old adage of I can't get a job because I don't have a car, and I can't get a car because I don't have a job. It's the same thing. It's hard to get a therapist if you're feeling too down and depressed to motivate yourself to get a therapist. But if you don't have a therapist, then the mental health problems can persist. BetterHelp takes care of all that because all you do is literally go to betterhelp.com/SinCast. You log in. They do what's called an inventory. They basically ask you questions about how you've been feeling lately. How worried have you been lately? How stressed have you been lately? How sad have you been lately? Things like that. You just answer to the best of your ability. It's not graded or anything like that. They're just trying to set you up in the best position and the best counselor to match to you, which they do within 48 hours, which is unbelievable. And you're off and running. And this is all from your computer, your tablet, your phone, from home. You can do video chat. You can do text chat. The possibilities are really amazing in this platform, and it's all to help you. Once again, if you don't get along or vibe or make progress with your counselor that you match with initially, you can change your counselor, and no judgment, no payment, no change fees or anything like that. You just go on and you do what is best for you, and that's the mission of BetterHelp, and couldn't recommend it enough.
I recently learned of another excellent target audience for BetterHelp. People who travel a lot. I was talking to an old college friend on chat the other day that I hadn't talked to in a few years, and he travels all the time. Now, we didn't get into talking about mental health, but he talked about how stressful all the travel was and how he's only in, one place for a week or two at a time, and then he's in another place, and then he's in another place. And it just kind of clicked with me, like, man, BetterHelp would be perfect for this dude. Yeah. And then I ended up later on sending him an email and just, suggesting it, if the stress gets too bad, maybe give this a shot, because, he doesn't have a central location where he can go to a therapist's office every week or every 2 weeks, whenever his, appointments are. He's always on the go. BetterHelp is perfect for him. He can have a licensed professional therapist, and he can connect wherever he is, online, on his phone, on his tablet, on his computer. It's perfect. And I'd never considered that before, because I am the exact opposite of a person who travels a lot.
I don't want to be glib about this, but think about what a change there would be in George Clooney's character in Up in the Air if he had an access to a service like this. This guy is completely lost. He's completely in his own head. He needs help, right? And this would have been perfect for him. You're absolutely right. When you're stuck in a hotel room and you're like, I'm not feeling all that great, BetterHelp is a perfect option. You're feeling sad, depressed, down, stressed. Holidays are coming up, folks. We all know sometimes that can be very, very stressful. Mental health issues can be exacerbated by that kind of thing, let alone being still in the middle of a pandemic. So go to betterhelp.com/SinCast to get 10% off your first month, which is a very important month, obviously. BetterHelp, HELP.com/SinCast. It is as easy as you can imagine. Try it now. If you've been putting it off, this is the time. Don't wait any longer. Do it now. Enjoy.
December 17th, Spider-Man No Way Home.
I'm still excited about this, by the way. I feel like you've lost your excitement, Jeremy.
I love Spider-Man. There will come a time when I will be able to watch this movie and appreciate it for what it is. But I don't want to be there with an opening night crowd, because I know they're going to scream and squeal and cheer at every single cameo beat.
That's correct.
And my great hope is that there's a good story under here. and I fear there's not. I fear that they think just getting these cameos. I don't want to spoil anything. Everybody knows who's expected to be in this movie. I think they think that alone is enough, and it will. Listen, it will be. If Toby and Andrew are in this movie, it's going to make Avengers level money. I keep saying this on Twitter. It's going to be the highest grossing single hero MCU movie in terms of focusing on Spider-Man. Doctor Strange is in it. In history, it's going to beat Black Panther, I think, if they are in it. But that doesn't mean the movie's going to be good. Into the Spider-Verse wasn't good solely because there were 5 different Spider-Men in it. It was good because they had an outstanding story with solid family connections to a morally questionable uncle and a father who's just trying to do the right thing. That movie is so good from the ground up. And here it just feels like we're throwing cameos at you. Every new poster, they're going to put a new trailer out tomorrow. It's going to have everybody in it, I think. They're not even going to care about spoiling it.
Might as well at this point, right?
Yeah.
There are 2 things against this being as big as you're saying it's going to be, though. One, it does have to be good. It has to be. If it's not, it will not make. It will not make that money at all. Not a chance. Now, December 17th is a release date that in the past, movies like Titanic and Star Wars have used to go to tremendous glory in the top 10 box office of all time. But those movies had their own word of mouth and that propelled them through the later months. Also, no competition. This year, there's a lot of competition, and we're going to be getting to that on this. I think it will do it'll probably do better than obviously Black Widow. It'll probably do better than Shang-Chi and Eternals.
Well, here's my logic, and you certainly would know better than me. But Far From Home made $1.13 billion, and Black Panther made $1.347 billion.
Okay, so yeah, we
it's
are
only
going
$200 million difference from a mediocre Spider-Man movie to Black Panther. Black Panther was good, but Far From Home certainly didn't make that money because of good reviews and word of mouth, I don't think. So my theory is you have Far From Home, only this time it's got Peter and Andrew and Willem Dafoe and Doc Ock and Jamie Foxx. I think people are going to pay the ticket to see Toby rip off his mask, even if the whole movie is bad. They're going to go back to see that Toby movie. I don't know. I would be happy to be wrong, especially if this movie is garbage. I would love to see it not do well.
Well, no, I mean, I think these movies always have a chance to beat the worldwide mark, and we should probably think of worldwide more often than we do.
That's true. We also didn't specify. Yeah.
Always look at the domestic, just because that's what we were trained to do back in the 90s, because the worldwide didn't mean shit for a long time.
Fuck you, world.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I mean, worldwide, if we're talking about all the different territories it's going to be, and it's going to, it probably will beat Black Panther worldwide. I think Avengers went higher than that, though.
I think
Avengers
I just closed the page.
Like Avengers Endgame, or is it Infinity War? I think we're talking the 2 billion territory for those.
Endgame was 2.7. Infinity War was 2.04. So.
Yeah, I think somewhere in between that Black Panther figure and those Avengers figures is where we're looking at for this one, probably. But
I'll be happy to be proven wrong. If this movie's awesome, I will be its biggest cheerleader. I promise. It's not that I don't want to see some fun cameos or a neat multiverse idea. It's just, it's a pretty big fucking gimmick to try and put an actual good movie around. I don't know if they're going to have time.
But I the other part of me that says it's going to have a hard time is because Matrix Resurrections comes out the very next week, and it's going to be tough to emulate any kind of, because most of these 2 movies that I mentioned, Titanic and was it Rise? Was it Rise? No, it wasn't Rise. It was
Force Awakens, right?
Force Awakens that made all the money. Those 2 had that tremendous ride from December to February, and there was nothing to get in its way. But this one, there's a lot of stuff about.
Yeah, that's another good point. Although my only other counter would be at least some Matrix fans like me will not be going to the box office to see that movie.
Yeah,
Whereas Spider-Man fans have no choice.
Mm-hmm.
Barrett, I will be naked when I watch that movie.
Also on December 17th, The Lost Daughter, Maggie Gyllenhaal's directorial debut with Olivia Colman.
Seeing some good things about this.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I had never heard of this movie until I started doing all the research into what was coming out and everything. The trailer comes on, and I'm looking at the actor who's kind of in silhouette at the beginning of the trailer, and I was like, is that Maggie Gyllenhaal? And then I was like, oh, it's Olivia Colman. Okay, whatever. And then it was like a film by Maggie Gyllenhaal. I was like, whoa, creepy. That's fucked up. I don't know what this movie's about, but Olivia Colman looks amazing in it. And she's getting tremendous Oscar buzz for it.
Yeah, she seems to do that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's pretty fantastic.
Somebody else big in this.
Yeah, there is. I know Peter Sarsgaard's in it because, well, he's good, but he's also
Dakota Johnson.
Dakota Johnson is in it, and it looks like there might be some sort of friction between her and Dakota Johnson.
It's a psychological drama,
right?
Dun, dun.
But it looks good. It looks like all involved. There might be a lot of nominations.
So you're saying that the trailer isn't just a bunch of her running around saying, "I've lost my daughter. Where's my daughter?
Not without my daughter.
She's
not
lost.
Without my daughter." Yes, Sally Field shows up at some point.
I do love that there's a joke in the Harry Potter compilation video where Mama Weasley kills Bellatrix, and there's a "not without my daughter."
Oh, yeah.
There's an alien / "not without my daughter" joke in there. It's so funny.
There's a there's some Family Guy thing that it's like Harrison Ford in some family drama or whatever, and he's going around to everybody, picking him up by the lapels and going, "I want my family back." And he keeps going to each person and going, "I want my family back." Also on December 17th, this is an Amazon movie, The Tender Bar. George Clooney's is directing that with Ben Affleck in it. It looks like a family drama.
Has anybody ever been given more chances to direct without a home run?
Well, it depends on if you think Good Night and Good Luck is not a home run.
I haven't seen that in forever. I'll give you that one.
But you're right. It's not like he's coming out with stuff that's making gobs of money. And
I just feel like when I saw George Clooney directing, I kind of rolled my eyes. I feel like that's almost a seal of mediocrity now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like the guy, I like the actor and the producer, but I mean, what else has he done? Monuments Men, that wasn't any good.
Yeah,
Hysteric Goats, was that him?
Well, he did Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
Yeah, not my bag.
Yeah.
Did he direct Tomorrow War?
No, that was
our boy.
No. That was Tomorrowland, right? What was the one where he was in the Arctic and had the Dave Letterman beard?
So that was a Netflix movie. The beeper, the beacon, the little girl I have to get across the Arctic to the spaceship Earth.
The beaver.
That was not the Tomorrow War.
No, it wasn't. No, that's the
signal.
Chris Pratt thing. It's
the signal.
The booster.
It's the beeper booster.
The beepers.
I've got it. It's coming. It's coming.
Zapper.
Here it comes.
Cold Mountain with a man.
It was cold. It was very cold. God
the
damn
last
it! Where is
child on Earth? The
Fucking...
children. Someone think of the children.
Yeah.
The receiver.
Midnight Sky.
The Night Sky.
Midnight Sky.
I was so close.
And he did direct that too, and that was Shat High.
Shut eye. This doesn't look like a great movie or anything, but it's coming out December 17th. There was a very interesting trailer I saw for December 17th. It's called Swan Song. And it has Mahershala Ali in it, It's coming out on Apple, I believe, and this is another contender for Oscars and stuff.
I just read a good review of this on a website.
Yeah, it's about a man who has been giving a terminal diagnosis who goes to a place to put all of his memories into another version of himself so that person can continue living on after he dies. And of course, all the conflicts that happen because of that.
Man, I don't want some motherfucker carrying around my memories. When I die, I'm taking them with me.
Yeah.
I don't care if he looks like me or not.
Yeah. I mean, this is an exact clone who doesn't know the difference between you and him, but
they're still my memories.
That's true.
Didn't earn them.
Like
Anyway.
it's like the Santa clone in Santa Claus 2.
Yeah. But I'm gonna watch it. Mahershala Ali is amazing, and
Yes, he is.
and this looks like a really interesting thing. Glenn Close is in it. Naomi Harris is in it. So I'm looking forward to watching this. It's one of the more interesting concepts that I saw, because we've always seen like the Logan's Run or the Island or anything or something like that where we don't know that they're clones, and what, I don't know, Logan's Run, they're not clones, but the Island, they're clones, and like they're being produced so that whenever the person out in the real world has a problem, they can just take from them and everything. We've never really seen it on the other side where that person has made this choice, and the choice is not it's not for some selfish gain. It's a real selfless act that you're giving this to your wife and your children. You can still be around. And there's a line in there where Glenn Close says, you're about, if you tell your wife that you're about to die, then you won't be able to do this operation, or not this operation, but you won't be able to do this thing because it's over at that point. If you tell her that she's going to die, that you're going to die. So I'm looking forward to this. It looks really good. December 22nd is The Matrix Resurrections.
Yeah, buddy.
Buddy. This trailer is fucking awesome.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because you don't know, but you know a little bit, but you still don't know. And you get a little taste of some action, but you're also, there's nothing. They're not giving you nothing. You're like, is he a new Matrix? Is he an old Matrix? Is it the same Matrix? Is that Morpheus? Is it not Morpheus? Why is it blue pill? Why is he taking blue pills? The blue pills are bad. And you don't know. And then there's a helicopter, and he throws it into another helicopter.
Yes.
God damn, I'm ready for this movie.
I do have this kind of horrible feeling, though. Oh, no. The trailer has this awesome Jefferson Airplane song playing through it. They edited it so beautifully. Yeah. And in the middle of all this, you're like, oh, yeah, fuck yeah. And then you're like, wait a minute. Did I just see the effects that I just saw go? What was that? What was that shit? That there's some effects in this movie that I'm like, are we sure that's what you were going with?
Maybe they weren't done when the trailer came out.
That's what they always say.
That's what I'm clinging to. That's what
they always say. They said that about the first Spider-Man, and it turned out okay, I guess.
Almost spit.
No, I am really excited about this. I'm going to watch this. I'm probably going to try to watch it when there's not 100 million people in the IMAX, but I do want to watch it in an IMAX. I missed that opportunity with Dune, because I drug my feet too long on Dune.
God, I having watched Dune, on a regular TV, I cannot imagine the sound of especially that score in IMAX.
Yeah,
like that I would have probably pooped myself.
Yeah,
just from the vibrato.
But exactly how Jeremy described this at the beginning, exactly. You're going to be sitting there going, yeah, why all this? Why is this happening? Why do they not know each other? He and Carrie Ann Moss. Why is that? And there could be a million different reasons, right? It could, because it could be a prequel. It could be after all this happened in those last 3 movies. It could be something else. Who knows? I mean, it's fun. I mean, it's I'm really excited about it. I want to see it. But there, like I said, that trailer is made in such an expert way that there's some creepiness. There's something creeping in to me, giving me some doubt on it, because I'm like, there's some visuals I'm not sure about there. But this appears to be, this is Lana Wachowski without Lily Wachowski. And that's something that we're going to see in another movie that's coming up here in December, but where formerly siblings are doing things on their own. So that's kind of interesting on its own as well. But yep, I will be watching Matrix Resurrections. I am going to be tremendously hopeful that it's awesome. So movies trying to compete against Matrix Resurrections. I guess you have some counter programming here. Sing 2. The Illumination Entertainment doesn't do sequels well.
No.
They do like Despicable Me franchise did pretty well, I imagine. I mean, for sequels, but like the Secret Life of Pets 2, nobody gave a shit when that came out. I don't think people are going to give a shit about this when it comes out. It looks like all the characters from the original are preparing for some sort of show, and that's
it looks serious, and it looks like kind of dour, and it's like
and
it all was having fun the first one.
And it all seems to rely on getting this old guitarist whose wife died or whatever, and they're playing still. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. I don't know. It doesn't look good to me.
Yeah, I actually like the first one.
The first one's actually pretty
adorable. Good.
Yeah. And then talk about a movie that has been pushed back. I think this was pushed back before the pandemic. The Kingsman.
God,
Matthew Vaughn's prequel to the Kingsman movies, and this just doesn't look good, guys. There's a reason why it got pushed back, right? Like there's now they're hiding it on December 22nd, right where The Matrix is coming out. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this got moved again.
Yeah.
But oh my God, that doesn't look good. On December 24th, there are a couple of limited releases. Parallel Mothers, the Pedro Almodovar movie that's coming out. It's a Penelope Cruz. It's probably pretty good. I don't know. I don't really know what it's about. It looks like
really give away a whole lot in the trailer.
Looks like Penelope Cruz gives birth to a child, and there's some question as to who the father might be, even though she believes or at least says that she only slept with one guy. That seems to be one of the central dramas of that. But that comes out on December 24th, and I'm sure it will have a lot of Oscar contention too, because Pedro Almodovar usually does.
They had also not a bother in Cannes, I think, because there was a Pedro Almodovar wanted to put a poster of like a breast on there, like dripping milk or something like that.
Okay.
And he was shut down for a while. And then he was like, the fuck, man? This is about mothers, and it's about breastfeeding and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think he freed the nipple. I think the nipple is back.
There you go.
Widely, you're not going to see it on the outside of your multiplex.
Miley did it first.
Yeah. She did. She did.
Who did?
Miley.
Yes. She sure did.
Also on December 24th, Cyrano, the new Joe Wright movie that has Peter Dinklage in it. We've, of course, seen thousands of Cyrano de Bergerac adaptations. There was a Gerard Depardieu one that came out in like 1990. There was Steve Martin's Roxanne came out in like 1987, which was, really good. But this was Peter Dinklage playing Cyrano. I mean, it's the same story that you know with Peter Dinklage.
Okay, now listen, I thought this trailer looked pretty awesome.
Yeah, okay.
And I like the twist that Cyrano isn't an outcast because of the usual reasons, but this time it has to do with his dwarfism. This is Joe Wright. So this is the guy that made Pride and Prejudice and Atonement and Darkest Hour and Hannah. So I have high hopes. Now, not any of those were a musical. I think this might be his first musical. And that's the only thing that makes me kind of go, don't necessarily know if I need the songs. But if he sneaks in a rocks, no, I'm just kidding.
Yep.
I really like this trailer. My wife and I have been big fans of several of his movies, so I'm pretty excited about this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it because Peter Dinklage is fucking rad.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so I'll definitely watch it because of that. On Christmas Day. So on Christmas Day, A Journal for Jordan. This is a Denzel Washington movie that he's directed with Michael B. Jordan is in this. It is about a guy who goes to war. He gets, I guess he's married or he's engaged to get married, and his fiance or wife is about to have a kid, but he goes to war when this happens. And he writes a journal for his unborn child, and teaching this kid what it's like to have to live in a world without a father, basically is what it's based on a true story. I believe I think the marketing of this movie is trying to tell you that Michael B. Jordan is going to be with us forever and always in this movie. So the trailer that I watched very much felt like Dear John or something like that, which, some Nicholas Sparks type of thing, but it's not that at all. It's more about, it's more about his unborn child and having a journal of I guess experiences. I don't know. It's based off of a play, I believe, or a book, an existing book. So
Denzel has an interesting career as a director. He did Antoine Fisher, The Great Debaters, Fences. All of those are solid to really good. And in the middle of there, an episode of Grey's Anatomy in 2016, which was recently talked about by Alan Pompeo. But
where she apparently told him what's what or something on the set of Grey's Anatomy was what she's trying to say.
Show. It was she was sharing this story like it was a good story to share. Not so much, but unlike Clooney, Denzel has a pretty solid track record for me as a director, and so I'll take a look at this one. And Michael B. Jordan,
for sure. Michael B. Jordan's always worth watching, and I'm down for that. So also on Christmas Day, American Underdog, and oh my fucking God, do we here in Nashville want to relive Kurt Warner beating the Tennessee Titans in the Super Bowl? I think
is the movie going to cover that?
I think it will. It's definitely covering his life before he joins the Rams, where he's a grocery clerk. And Zachary Levi is playing Kurt Warner in this, and there is who is comically playing Mike Martz in this, because Mike Martz is an offensive coordinator at this time. He's not the head coach, but whoever's playing him,
Dennis Quaid,
it's like Dennis Quaid plays Vermeil.
That's right. You're right. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. But I think it's somebody who's known is playing Mike Martz, and it's so, I mean, they got that gray hair and that weird, that Mike Martz look, man. He got it down. This is directed by Andrew and John Irwin, who've done a lot of like religious themed movies over the years. Was it I Can Only Imagine, and like if you look down the list, it's like, oh yeah, I remember not watching that. Also on Christmas Day, I believe this is a limited release, The Tragedy of Macbeth, which is Joel Coen by himself. No Ethan Coen with this.
That's weird, but it still looks fucking awesome.
It looks fucking awesome.
It looks amazing. It looks like it's got incredible production value, and it's Denzel and fucking Frances McDormand playing Lady Macbeth is all you had to say.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Sold.
This looks like just a bold, rich adaptation. Like, okay, we've seen a million Macbeths, but we haven't seen it like this. And
what is the last great Macbeth, though, that you've seen? Now, I've seen this on stage a million times. I've seen it in the park a million times. I feel like I've seen a few adaptations. No real modern adaptation that I'm aware of. I know there was one with Shame Fassbender. Yeah.
I'm wearing off on you, man.
What's funny is Jeremy came up with Fassbender before you said Shame.
But I didn't see that one. I love the story of Macbeth, but I didn't even see that one. This one, I hope there was that run of Hamlets back in the 90s, right? Of like really good Hamlets. Both the Branagh version and the Bertolucci version were fantastic, I thought. But Macbeth has been through the ringer so many times that you don't really have a definitive version. This might not be, but it looks fucking awesome.
Oh, it looks really good. It looks like one of the this is definitely up my alley. I can't wait till I get my hands on that. Going on to January 7th, the first big movie of the year is The 355, which has Jessica Chastain, Penelope Cruz, Lupita Nyong'o's in it.
Diane Kruger.
Yeah, Diane Kruger. And kind of an amazing feat, right? Because this is a movie of mostly 40-something women all kicking ass. Like you would have never seen this maybe even 5 or 10 years ago. This kind of a lineup, but they're named after some, George Washington and his crew had a female agent they called the 355, and it's probably dubious historical actors.
Fox Force 5.
Right, the Fox Force 5. And they have to defeat evil, I think, who's in the name of Sebastian Stan, who's playing the Winter Soldier again, probably.
That'd be hilarious. I wish this movie looked better. I love everything everything about it. It's like Ocean's 8. Like, I really like the cast. I like the Ocean's franchise, but it just seems like, I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. I hope it'll be good, but it doesn't look good.
Another Oscar contender coming out on Amazon called A Hero, which is an Ashar Farhadi movie. He did Separation. If you've ever seen that, that's why it's a big deal that this movie's coming out. And it looks pretty good, but I don't know much about it. It's supposed to come out on January 7th. January 14th is Scream.
You said it right. It just sounds so weird to say Scream for the 5th version.
So look, yeah, this is Scream 5, but they're just calling it Scream because that's what we do nowadays. We just call the new thing the old thing now. What's kind of interesting is that we have directors Matt Bettinelli Olpin and Tyler Gillette, who did Ready or Not, directing this Scream. But I've seen this trailer many times and I can't get excited about it. And I love Scream movies. There's yet again another connection to the other movies where people are killing because there's a connection. It's like, okay.
They also make sure that that there's a connection by saying there's a connection about a zillion fucking goddamn motherfucking cock-ass fucking times in the fucking trailer.
I saw the trailer once and was pretty excited. I don't think I want to watch it anymore after
Jeremy
talked.
There's a connection between Sidney Prescott and the new killer.
I for one am not surprised by that.
Kind of surprised you're excited about this movie, honestly.
I think what it was that the way they cut the trailer, where he says, "Hello, Sidney, it's an honor," and I think that was what sold me on it. Because even though there's a connection, that line says it's not any of the same previous killers. This is somebody who understands the history and would really love to kill Sidney because nobody else has done it yet. But yeah, it's going to be like they're going to pull the hood off and they're going to say, that was in Billy's balls 20 years ago.
There's a theme to this. Well,
hey, I recognize that guy. He was in Billy's balls.
He was in Billy's balls.
In 1990.
He was also in Stu's balls. He was in all the balls. The directors get me excited though for it. I mean, ready or not, but the trailer, I remember when that trailer got hatched and we were having the Slack conversation. I was like, I'm not too excited about it, but I'll watch it. Also on the 14th, Sesame Street. There's a Sesame Street movie coming out. There's no trailer for it. It apparently is going to have like one of the genre keywords was crime, so there's going to be a crime in this. Okay,
nice. Probably somebody stole a banana peel from Oscar's garbage can.
And they're gonna wrongfully accuse Oscar the Grouch of something
because he has a grouchy disposition. Of course, he did it.
Yeah, exactly. Also, a movie called Deep Water, which is Adrian Lyne making a movie with Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas when they were together, and there's no trailer for this. But the synopsis says something about a husband lets his wife cheat on him with multiple partners, and that sounds exactly like an Adrian Lyne movie.
No!
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, is Adrian Lyne the 9.5 weeks guy?
No, well, yeah, Indecent Proposal and what's the Diane Lane Unfaithful movie?
I could,
but I believe he did 9.5 weeks as well. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. January 21st is a movie called The King's Daughter. Kaya Scodelario in this as well. She's a king's daughter who discovers mermaids, and it looks fucking generic as shit.
It's the prequel to The King's Man.
It is.
It's The King's Balls.
It's The King's Balls. Yes. But yeah, it doesn't look good at all. January 28th, which is my birthday, which means that this movie is going to suck. Morbius.
Are you excited about Morbius, Jeremy? Do you know this character very well?
No, I don't. And again, we have the Jared Leto problem. What is interesting about the most recent Morbius trailer is the absolute ball of confusion they've thrown at the internet, including references to the Venom movies, to Raimi's Spider-Man, and apparently to Holland's Spider-Man, all noticed in that one Morbius trailer. So fans are like, when the fuck is this taking place and where? And is this movie going to start combining the universes? And I don't know. I don't care.
I think it is. I think it is. Because they've got Michael Keaton in there, who would be... connected as Vulture in the
I think
MCU version, and then there's Venom. I think Sony is amassing.
They want to do
if Mobius actually hits, Carnage I think did fairly well. Venom of course did well. I think the rights for Spider-Man are reverting back.
They'd have to sign another deal. Yeah,
to Sony. So I think they're getting their nuts together, and I don't mean that. I think they're gathering their assets. And I think they're trying to launch a Spider-Verse, if you will, with these interesting characters. I mean, Venom has shown to be a viable character on his own. Throw in Spider-Man, throw in Vulture, throw in,
Sony wanted to do Sinister Six when they had Andrew Garfield in the role.
Yeah.
And that's when Drew Goddard was lined up to write and direct that movie. But after Garfield was bumped, it all fell apart. So they've long been wanting to do this, and they've got Michael Keaton's Vulture, and then Venom and Morbius. They've got 3 already set up. And I think they are well within their rights, per the deal with Marvel, to make all the Sinister Six Spider-Man movies they want with Tom Holland, as long as he's willing to play the character. So it could get very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in this character. It's the Marvel Batman, right? But
he looks like a vampire.
Well, doesn't he say he has sonar bats signal or some shit in this trailer? He says something to that effect.
He heals himself through bats, and he has like the echolocation. He has the power of. He's got the power of flight. Does that do anything for you?
Exactly.
Levitation homes. But yeah, I mean, I think it's like the Marvel version of Batman, except more vampire-y and actually super powered instead of just rich and fucking techno savvy and shit.
Yeah, but when this was supposed to come out last year, I wasn't really excited about it, and nothing has really changed that much. I mean, if they're going to continue doing this batshit insane stuff like they've been doing with Venom, I might be interested. I don't know, but Jared Leto is a real problem for me. He's a real problem.
God damn it! I mean, just fucking. I know he's talented. I know he's good looking, but just let somebody else have a chance.
Yeah, let somebody else have a chance. But yeah, they're going to have 3 movies in the last 4 months. Sony Marvel is going to have the Venom, Let There Be Carnage, the Spider-Man, and Morbius all come out in this quick succession. I don't know. It'll be interesting. This might be a real test for something this might be one of our first tank jobs, I think. This could tank. This could absolutely tank.
It could. It could.
February 4th, Jackass Forever, another movie that's been moved back in a bunch. We've talked about it before, I believe, in other previews. I would say if you have any interest in going into a theater, you should probably watch this with a large crowd if you can find a large crowd. Because that's the way to experience that movie. I'm not going to watch it at home. I tell you that right now. I don't really care about the brand that much. But watching it with a whole bunch of people who are all getting grossed out and laughing at the same time, it's the best. Scott Derrickson's new horror movie, The Black Phone, comes out, has Ethan Hawke looking really creepy as fuck in this movie. It actually looks pretty good, but you know what? February 4th is Super Bowl weekend, and that's where they usually hide terrible movies. So
this is him and Cargill that wrote it.
Yeah, and it's based on a Joe Hill short story, Stephen King's kid. So there's potential here for sure to be very, very, very creepy, but we'll see.
Actually, it's the following Super Bowl is the following week this year, so maybe this is a decent omen for that movie.
Sneaky beaky.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks pretty good. It's got that same kind of sinister feel to it in some areas, but Ethan Hawke looks terrifying.
Creepy as shit.
Yes. Ethan Hawke looks terrifying. Also, Moonfall is supposed to come out on February 4th. Roland Emmerich making yet another disaster movie.
It's not bad enough that he's written a movie where the moon falls to Earth, but also that the twist is the moon was not what we thought it was all along. I fucking hate this movie on paper, and it's going to take a lot to change my mind. And you're talking to somebody who... I don't want to get too far into it, but I might dabble with some moon shit in a future book, but not like this. Not like this.
Yeah. I mean, I can't. I know that this is probably on Roland Emmerich's mind. He's probably a huge environmentalist, and the things that he's doing in all these movies is like, this is my warning. I'm going to make all my movies are going to be about this. What damage we're doing to the planet and everything. Although this time it's the moon, so I don't really know. But you know, it's hard to blame him for that. But man, these movies are awful a lot of times. They're just so bad.
Dude, this is coming from somebody who watched and enjoyed Greenland, and is a disaster movie fan. I'm a fan of Day After Tomorrow, which I think is a Roland Emmerich joint.
It is.
Yes, it is.
This looks fucking hilariously terrible.
Yeah, it does.
I can't abide.
February 11th is Death on the Nile. Now, this is the Super Bowl weekend, so kind of interesting that Death on the Nile is coming out. This is Kenneth Branagh again. Of course, this is a movie that's been pushed back many times due to the pandemic. This is another cast where you're like, oh, heard some bad things about these people recently. It's one of those like that. This is another one. This is like that West Side Story one where you're just like, oh my god,
Armie Hammer's still in a movie.
Armie Hammer's in this.
Oh no!
And this isn't like high on the level of bad, but Letitia Wright, who's of course very anti-vaccine, is in this, and like Just a lot of people in here where you're like, oh God, seriously.
It's also a huge. It's much like Murder on the Orient Express, a huge cast.
Oh, Russell Brand, who's another one who's been he's suddenly like QAnon or something. Like he's suddenly become one of those kind of guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's in this. But I've heard this is a great Agatha Christie story. So and Kenneth Branagh did really well with Murder on the Orient Express last time, and we haven't gotten to see very many of the other Agatha Christies. So I'm looking forward to this. But there's a lot of cringy people in this.
I am too. Lily Rose Depp, I think, is in this one too.
She is.
And Gal Gadot. I don't know what I think about her acting outside of the first Wonder Woman, to be honest with you. But hopefully she's given a little bit more to do in this one.
Yeah. The other movies coming out on February 11th don't have trailers, and I think they're trying to hit some sort of Valentine's Day type of thing. But What About Love, which has Sharon Stone and Andy Garcia in it, and I saw some images of it, and it just doesn't look good to me. But
old people fucking.
Yeah. And Marry Me is another movie that's coming out. I didn't see any trailers for it. So
I hope it's just 2 hours of that girl from Arrested Development saying, "Marry me,
yes.
marry me."
February 18th, a lot of people got on to us when we had a question about cinematic video games, and we did not bring up Uncharted. And I guess none of us here has played Uncharted. Have we?
I played it.
You played it?
One of them.
Yeah. Isn't it like Tomb Raider almost?
Yeah, Indiana Jones meets Tomb Raider. What's curious about this movie is they've aged him way down because I think they have a franchise on their hands. Because in the game, he's like a grizzled, Thanos could play him.
Oh, okay.
Well, he should be. I thought Marky Mark was playing the main character because I understood the same thing you did. He's kind of a...
The main character is Nathan Drake, and that's who Tom Holland is playing. And in the game, he's in his late 30s, 40s. He's a man. He's a man. And Mark Wahlberg is a whole other issue altogether. He's playing Sully, friend and partner. And from what I can remember, he's nothing like that character in the game. But now this trailer, you guys see this trailer?
Yeah.
This is some Fast and Furious shit at the end here with the boxes flying out the back of the plane and him toppling on them. That is a direct sequence from the game.
Oh, really?
The there's an opening sequence in one of the games where you're in a plane and all the cargo starts sliding out violently and you have to grab onto the cargo netting and the boxes are flying at you. So fans of the game should be very happy with this trailer because it looks like the trailer is saying we love this game too. But from a movie standpoint, I don't need Indiana Jones meets Fast and Furious. I don't need any of that. That sounds like poison. I don't want it.
Ruben Fleischer of Zombieland fame, and of course of Gangster Squad fame, directed this.
He did something recently, didn't he?
I think he did, but I can't remember what it is. But that's coming out on February 18th.
Oh, we did Venom. That's right. Yeah.
That's right. He did the first Venom. Then also on the 18th, Michael Bay's Ambulance.
What is this about? This is Jake Gyllenhaal, right?
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal's in it, and Isa Gonzalez is in it, and who else is in it? There's someone playing his partner.
So it's going to be like Bringing Out the Dead meets Transformers.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking. Yeah, that's who it is.
Man, that guy is in everything.
He sure is.
Has there ever been an actor who went from unknown to in everything in faster time than this guy?
Dude,
he's everywhere.
I want him in everything. He's playing
great.
The possibly young Morpheus, right, in Resurrection?
He has said he's playing Morpheus, but it is not the same version of Morpheus. Okay. That's the most he said in his comments.
But yeah, Candyman, The Trial of Chicago 7. I mean, he's in a million things.
Aquaman.
Watchmen.
I like him.
Yeah. But yeah, it's about two thieves who steal an ambulance, and I guess they drive. They have to be. They've got either their money is on the ambulance and they have to get chased by cops or something like that. I saw this trailer and I was like, oh no. And then they call it ambulance.
There you go. Yeah.
Like, doesn't look good. Although Michael Bay is better when he does more down to earth type movies.
Yep.
So, but I don't have any hopes for this. But Jake Gyllenhaal.
Here's my hope. I hope that thieves steal the ambulance, but then through circumstances they cannot control, they have to start acting as EMTs and doing tracheotomies and first aid and shit.
Yeah.
And like clap paddles to bring people back to life. And then at the end, they realize they would rather be EMTs than thieves. And so they sign up for paramedic school.
Now that's something everybody can enjoy.
Yep.
Done.
Yep.
Done.
Also on February 18th, an animated movie called Rumble comes out, which has Will Arnett playing a monster who wants to fight. So it's a Rocky movie with monsters, basically.
Nice.
February 25th is a movie, no trailer on it, called The Devil's Light. Virginia Madsen is in it, and it's another nun movie, but this time nobody's getting sexy.
Damn it! I thought all nun movies were required to be sexy these days.
They are supposed to be sexy. I mean, I'm sure they snuck some sex scene in somewhere in this movie, but according to the synopsis, it's apparently an exorcism movie. Then a nun has to perform an exorcism.
Oh, she's not supposed to do that. That's not her job.
Not supposed to do that. You're right. They're very, very hard about that in the Catholic faith. If you try to perform exorcisms,
if she were a novitiate, maybe.
Our final movie that we're going to talk about here comes out on March 4th, and it's The Batman, the Matt Reeves The Batman. That trailer, yeah, exactly. Jeremy is doing the thing that I like about this trailer. That music just drives that trailer throughout the whole thing. There's a lot of really cool images. I love that shot of Batman fighting all those people with the red lights flashing around.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, can I tell you this? Like, my favorite part of that trailer is where he keeps getting shot, and instead of like being in pain or anything, he gets pissed off. Like every time he's pissed off, he's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
He's annoyed. And also that scene when he's beating the absolute shit out of someone and it cuts to Catwoman and she is horrified.
Mm-hmm.
Like Matthew Vaughn has said, this is Matthew Vaughn. No, Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves has said he's going for that year 2 of Batman where he still is not in control of his rage. And we haven't really seen that Batman. Mm-hmm. Even Nolan's year 1 with Batman Begins, he funneled that rage pretty quickly into fighting crime and not like beating people to a pulp. I'm looking forward to this for so many reasons. The action looks great. Matt Reeves has not done me wrong. I love Batman. It looks like a Batman we've never seen before. Bring on like psychotic Batman. I'm ready for it. He's not all good, people.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
Colin Farrell is unrecognizable in this trailer. Like it took me forever to realize that was Colin Farrell in there.
And he ends the trailer with that fantastic sequence.
Mm-hmm.
I
got you.
I got you.
Totally Al Capone or De Niro in Untouchables, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Totally.
I got you.
Let's see the Penguin played as a crime boss and not like a waddling weirdo.
No,
exactly.
And that's a Penguin that we've never seen on screen before because it's always been it wasn't Burgess Meredith, was it? It was Burgess Meredith that did it in the series, and then it was, of course, Danny DeVito in Batman Returns. And like we've never seen a formidable Penguin before.
No. Mm-hmm. He's always been kind of a joke villain, but he should be more like Kingpin in Daredevil or Spider-Man or in the Spider-Verse. He's like a formidable crime lord. I'm here for this movie. I'm already in. If it sucks, I'm going to be so heartbroken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it Zoe Kravitz that plays Catwoman?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
nothing wrong with that.
Andy Serkis is Alfred. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it as well. All right. Well, that's the winter preview.
Yay!
Some very intriguing movies. Some movies that I'm a little iffy about, but I'm going to watch. Some I'm straight up not going to watch. Just not going to. I don't care what you guys say.
Not going to watch it.
That's going to do it for this episode. Keep going to SinCast presented by Cinemasins on Facebook. We're also on Cinemasins Twitter, Music Video Sins Twitter, Discord, and SoundCloud. That's going to do it for this week. It's Chris Atkinson, Jeremy Scott, and Barrett Shear. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening. Comment on our episodes on our SoundCloud page. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit. And be sure to visit cinemasins.com. You are all in on that show, man. I haven't seen you as all in on a show in a long time.
It is yummy, hot garbage. It's so trashy. It's so soapy. And it honestly, in my tweet, I said no show has ever made me go from, oh, give me a fucking break, to, oh, inject it into my veins, and then back again as fast as this show. So yeah, I cannot recommend it. I can warn it, but I am all in. I love the fuck out of it. It knows what it is, and it's basically a modern day Dallas. And there's a lot of violence.
How is that like a formula for you, though? Like you're probably too young for Dallas to have hit you, right?
I certainly didn't watch Dallas, but I saw the commercials for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I ever watched the show, but even at however old I was, that Who Shot JR stuff was very, very prominent. I didn't even know what it meant. I was like, yeah, who shot JR after all? And I think it was Patrick Duffy, not the character Patrick Duffy plays, but Patrick Duffy,
the actor himself.
Behold, my Patrick Duffy leg.
Yes.
I'll be honest, I have only binged this show. I have not watched a season 1 week at a time. So I have all 3 of the first seasons I have seen on binges. The 4th season only has 3 episodes out so far, and I have seen the first 2. But I do not know if I'm going to wait and binge or watch it. But
they do from the jump? Did they do the release strategy like that, like weekly, or did they?
Oh yeah. It's always been traditional TV schedule kind of deal. But it is the number 1 show on cable right now. Like 20 some million people watch this show. It's
really.
Yes. In fact, I saw a headline the other day that said the most popular show that you've never heard of or seen, and it was about Yellowstone, and it characterized all the viewers as like senior citizens, which may be the case. I don't know. Costner's getting up there, but I don't consider myself a senior citizen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm certainly no spring chicken, but yes, it is an extremely popular show, and you either know about it or you don't. And that's weird, but it probably has something to do with Paramount Network being a brand new network and all that shit.
But it's on Peacock now, right?
Well, I think you can see it on both.
No, it's on Paramount Plus.
You can see it on both because Peacock is at least Peacock is letting you see the first 3 seasons.
Okay.
If you so I don't know what the various wheelings and dealings are behind the scenes there, or how Paramount and Comcast are, saying you can play my show on your network too. I don't know how that works. But Peacock has been pretty, I don't know if it's because of YouTube ads or if it's been on ads on games I've been watching. They said Peacock has been pretty aggressive about saying you can watch Yellowstone there. The first 3 seasons.
It's the weirdest show, man. It will do 15 minutes on campaign finance intrigue, and then it'll cut to Costner catching bikers on his land and forcing them to dig their own graves and pee themselves before he finally lets them go. Like it's the seesaw. But I'm telling you, if it's a drug, I'm addicted. So
I think I might dive in. I'm gonna watch this before I watch The Wire. That's gonna blow your mind.
Well, so you know what you've done?
What have I done?
So you know what you've done, Jeremy?
What have I done?
This asshole's going to watch Yellowstone.
I'm sorry, I
before
can't
he
get to the
watches
wire. I'm watching Yellowstone.
He's already told you that Yellowstone is fucking pure trash and The Wire is amazing, and you're like, fuck it, give me Yellowstone.
I want the trash. Hey, and Sawyer from Lost joined the cast in season 3.
Nice.
He's one of the foes that butts heads with Kevin Costner.
Josh Holloway.
Yeah,
That guy,
there was a big.
that guy should be in everything. I like.
There was a big 3 or 4 episode arc about a stock takeover. It's like the show treads on boring, and then we'll cut to like the gutting of a feral hog while imparting wisdom to your 5-year-old grandchild. It's just, I just love it. I love it.
It's almost
so
like
much.
they realize it's boring, and they're like, well, we haven't had anything weird happen in a while, so let's cut to something fucked up because we're talking about taxes and shit or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Wes
you
Bentley,
seen it,
son of Wes Bentley is in every episode.
No
He's one
way.
of the sons. Yeah.
Can he still be sudden though if he's in every episode?
I think he's always sudden.
He
I
kind of
mean,
is sudden.
Wes Bentley always sneaks up on you.
That's true.
Never see him coming.
Yeah, you're like, I saw him in the last episode, but there's no way he'll be in this.
He's Kevin Costner's son, but I think they're done with that storyline.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I like me some Josh Holloway. How old is Josh Holloway, we think? 52. 52.
Oh, 52.
He still looks fine. He still looks good, right?
He looks younger than 52. Costner looks older than 52. He looks.
I think Kevin Costner's kind of leaned into that over the years. Like
he
you know
has
what?
his voice is getting raspy too, man.
Oh, really?
Like, you're not ready for. And he may be leaning into that. That may be his Batman voice for this character,
Right.
but you're not ready for old Costner. I don't think.
That show's weird enough that they probably do put a cowl on him later on, right? As the day I was watching just before we came on, I was watching the Stephen Colbert interview with Jeff Goldblum, and I was like, how old is Jeff Goldblum? He's 69.
Nice.
I was looking up. I was like, I wonder if he has kids. And he on Google says he's got 2 kids, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're probably like 30 or so by now. Nope,
5.
he's got a kid that's 4, and another one that's like 6 or 7 or something like that. He's got his wife is
Boys can
38.
swim.
I think they've been married for 7 years. So he was 62, she was 31. Yeah, and then they had kids afterwards. Good for him, man. Good for him.
And good for her.
I know
She locked down
if I
Goldblum.
hit 60 or so and I don't have kids, I will not be having kids.
I know I will not be having kids. Like if I were to have a kid at this point, by the time that kid goes to school, I'm physically unable to do anything with that.
It's very
child.
true. It's very true.
I can't help tie shoes. I can't throw the ball. I can't zoom the airplane. Spoon. I'm arthritic and
You're
broken.
giving up, man. You're fucking 46, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry, what I'm saying is by 51, I expect to be very frail.
Meanwhile, Phil Mickelson just won like 8 championships in a row on the.
Tell you what, man, I don't think anybody's dominated the Champions Tour quite the way he has.
Yeah, and he's done. Well, fuck, he won. Didn't he win the PGA this year?
Yes, he did, and he won 2
Like the
to
real
4
PGA.
times on the Champion Tour. Yeah, he won on the regular tour. He won a major, and then on the Champions Tour, he won the first 2 events he played. He won, I think, and then he just won the final event of the season. It's just the way it works, man. Most of the guys on that Champions Tour are 75 years old. And
Yeah.
Every new 51-year-old or 50-year-old kicks ass for a while. I think Fred Couples kicked ass when he went up to the Champions Tour.
And then his back.
I believe
snapped
that's
in
true.
half.
Early on in my very, very spare golf watching days, Fred Couples was probably my favorite golfer at the time.
I liked him.
He was the guy who was just kicking all the ass. So it was like I like me some Fred Couples. And then like out of nowhere, he was just, I think he was it early 90s, mid 90s? And then Tiger Woods showed up and then nobody else won ever again.
Never again. To this day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When Tiger comes back, he's going to win 2 tournaments on the same weekend.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
That'd be fun. I like Fred Couples a lot, but or I did too, Chris, when you were watching it. But then there was this one tournament where Jeremy, you may remember this. Like it was probably 10 years ago, and he had a chip shot from like it was a U.S. Open or something like that from pretty gnarly rough. A chip shot, probably 10 yards or something like that. And I don't think I've seen anybody do this with regularity. He opened the club face up and he whiffed. He went right under the ball and the ball didn't move. Like he went down to the grass and the ball just stayed there. There was a guy right behind him. Of course, the gallery's right there, pre-COVID and all that stuff. The gallery's cordoned off and everything. And there was a guy, I swear to God, that snickered. Didn't just fucking like, oh, you fucking idiot, or anything like that. He literally, and I probably would do the same thing. He was like, he did that. Yeah. And Fred kind of turns around. He's like, it's real fucking funny, isn't it?
I mean, listen, I would feel that way. I do that shit every time I play a round of golf. And if somebody snickered at me, I'd turn around and bite their head off. But if I was Fred Couples, I'd probably take a swing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know if anybody was really in the wrong here. Like, the guy probably just couldn't hold it in. Like,
you're kind of in the wrong. You're kind of in the wrong when you laugh like that.
Yeah. It was almost like
because you're supposed. I don't know.
You're right. He was in the wrong.
Yeah, I mean, is it something to be very mad about? Probably not.
But also, anybody that's played golf knows how much you want to do that to yourself, let alone anybody else that says or does anything around you.
Right.
So I understand it. I just thought, like, at that point I was like, dude, pump the brakes, man.
There's a great lead-in point where the little girl like looks over at the whatever demon child or whatever, and the demon child shushes her. It's like a big lead-in, right? And it's like, and it's like, what a bitch.
And then we discussed the various merits of calling a ghost girl a bitch versus calling a real little girl a bitch, and how we were probably on the correct side morally.
What was the one for the upcoming script, Jeremy, that you wrote? There was like, fuck you, little girl.
You don't know shit.
That's going to be such a great one. People are going to love that.
Anyway. This is a very important question. Will there ever be a time where you get sick of Friends?
Where I get sick of what?
Friends.
Probably not. I think we've already gone. It's like Kramer when he had to use the bathroom and he couldn't for so long, and then he missed his chance and he's gone too far. Like I missed my chance to get sick of it. So it's like family. I'm like stuck with it.
Did you ever see the How I Met Your Mother thing where they were traveling cross country and they had the one tape in there of the Proclaimers, I would walk 500 miles?
No.
And it's this great cut up of Jason Segel and Ted, and where it's like, the first few minutes they're like, yeah, I would walk, and they're just kind of like going with it, and then they're like, oh my God, this is no. And then Jason Segel's like, trust me, it'll come around again. The next scene, they're like,
it's like Emma Stone with that card, Pocket Full of Sunshine, where she hates it, but then she's suddenly saying, take me away.
I got a pocket.
You got a pocket full of... Can I just say, Cruella, for whatever works in it, none of it would work if it wasn't Emma Stone in that role. That's my humble opinion.
Probably right.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Hell, like I said before, the Croods, the New Age, is fun because of her.
Yeah, she's just got a very unique and infectious charm, I think.
She's perfect in that role because in Cruella, because she does play Estella when she gets in that mode, she does play that completely different than when she's Cruella, because she puts on this air of confidence and craziness that is perfect. And you could see that she's early on, and then by the end of that movie, I've seen this movie now probably 7-8 times. Oh, at the end of that movie, when they walk into the new estate and everything, she's like a grown-ass woman. I'm sure a lot of it's makeup and everything, but she changes her dialect a little bit, and she changes a little bit of like her posture to where she looks like she's 10 years older. She's fucking amazing, man. I love that movie. Did you liked it? You kind of liked it, right?
I liked it. I didn't love it. It's way too long.
It's way too long. It's way too long.
But it's definitely charming, and it mostly her and dude from Eastwood's Atlanta bombing movie. Walter Hauser.
Walter Hauser, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I like the other dude just as much too. I mean,
they're both but he wasn't given any of the humor, and the other dude was making me laugh a lot.
Yeah, it's funny. Chris, have you seen this yet? Cruella?
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Yeah, I think you would at least enjoy watching it. You may be more like Jeremy, to where it's just kind of like pretty good. Fashion.
My wife loved it.
Lit.
My wife absolutely loved it.
So. I was gonna ask. So that's kind of up her alley, eh?
Yeah, we got done. And I was just about to say, well, that happened. And she goes, that was awesome. And I was like, oh, you really liked it, huh? And she's like, yeah. I was like, I don't think I liked it that much.
Are you ready? Is your body
Bonesaw is ready.
Bonesaw is ready.